this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts with the Visible Image Artist Trading Card Swap for October 2025. And the topic this month is Autumn Vibes. So I thought I'd get my Totally Toadstools stamp and die set out again. If I say set, they are sold separately, but I've got them both. And yeah, because I really love this stamp here, the toadstool itself, but the other mushrooms are just glorious as well. I really love this. But when I thought, what do I do about the background, I thought I'm going to be a little bit cheeky. Normally I create a background just especially for the individual video, but this time I'm using a background that I actually created on my last video, because I then used one that I had created off camera. And this is the result of some sunny smooshing, which is like ink smooshing, but on top of gel hand sanitizer. I will link to my other video below so you can see how I created this. But because I'm a bit stuck for time, I'm going to Germany next week, I thought I'd just use something I have. And I think that's actually not a bad tip, using something that you have, then recreating something new all the time. So, but I thought I want to do something to this because I don't want it to be the same background as I had on my last ATC card, although I then had a green one. So I thought I'd just get a stencil out, and I'm just using this one here. Don't ask me what it's called. I will put it in the description box below. At first I thought, do I want something organic? But then I thought something to break up the organic look of the background and something in combination with sort of nature. I like something different. I even thought about the brick stencil, but I thought, yeah, I just fancied this one here. So all I'm doing then is doing a little bit of ink blending over the top. I won't use the whole size of the stencil. I will create a section here for the main card and then a section here for the ATC. And I'm using the Elements Russet Orange just to harmonize with this color here, but also to, yeah, basically sort of blend this in. This is quite juicy. I want to cover the white areas here as well. So have a look how much I actually cover this. So you can use your fingers, lift it up and hold it in place. So it doesn't show that very much at all at the moment. So probably need a heavier application. This is also not the best blending brush. I replaced most of my bigger blending brushes recently. So, and as I said, I don't want to cover the whole bit. So I'm just going down here. And then I think I want a little bit in the top there, ideally without getting all the orange on my finger. So I'm just having a look if I'm happy with that. Yeah, I like that, because you've got different, let me just take it off now. So I've got different levels of coverage. I've got quite a lot of sort of white here. The other one blends a little bit more in because I less white in the background. So I'm quickly doing this on the side here for my ATC as well. So we'll just use an edge up to me really. I could even do a reverse one. Well, I think that could be interesting. And then, yeah, I think I will stamp this separately rather than doing it on the surface, because I'm always a little bit worried. First of all, I've got wet ink on here and I want to heat emboss this before I do the colouring. And also, I'm not quite sure the alcohol inks, especially the gold, how much that would resist. So I think I'll do this on a separate piece of cardstock. Rather than die cutting my heat embossed piece, I decided to die cut my pieces first and then do the heat embossing on top. I had, by the way, show you the scrap piece as well, some ink on my die cutting plate where I die cut a piece that I had just stamped and coloured, but I think I get away with it, so I'm a bit too lazy now to find another scrap piece. But so that these die cut pieces don't slip away, I use some removable adhesive just to stick them down here on the surface, and then that allows me to stamp without them slipping away whilst I'm stamping, because I'm not using my stamping platform, I'm just using an acrylic block. And I have decided to go in with the pine cone rather than a black, although I'm just having second thoughts. No, I changed my mind. I want a bit more contrast, so I will actually use the onyx black. I already know that I want to do a little bit more stamping in the background. I said earlier that I'm worried that the alcohol ink or the gold will resist it, but I just want a little bit more texture or something else going on in the background. So I can now place this over the top. A little tip from me, which I didn't follow myself, is if you want to align this properly, it's sometimes actually better to have a different colored piece of cardstock in the back, so that you can actually see the silhouette a little bit better. But I think this is okay now. Leaving it on for a moment. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So, and because there's so much going on there, and I will colour this thoroughly anyway, I don't think this sort of mark will be visible afterwards. So I think when I place this down, I think I might even have to cut it off a little bit on the ATC. I'm not quite sure how wide this is. So one thing I've forgotten is I mustn't leave it to dry too long, because I wanted to heat emboss this. So I'm just getting my clear embossing powder out, and I will just quickly dip these in there. So if I had thought about this before, I would have created a little piece of cardstock in the back that I could have held on to, but now I'm just using some tweezers. I've got these interlocking ones, and I'm just placing these on the edge where I don't have any ink, and then I can dip this in here. And I will actually leave the tweezer on that one and find I've got 3 pairs that came in a set of 3. Oh, I'll just find the other one off camera, and then I will heat set these, which means I will heat up my heat tool for about 30 seconds, heat set this from the back, come in from the front, and then I'll show you what they look like. So the embossing powder is nicely set. You can always see that when it's really shiny. I like the look of that. And I do prefer to use black ink and clear embossing powder to using black embossing powder with just the embossing ink. I always find that gives me definitely a crisper result. I want to work with glossy accents later, because I've got this hopefully great idea of adding red mica powder to glossy accents, but I want to do something to the white spots, and I thought I had like a pearl drop in white. I cannot find it. I might have disposed of it if it had dried up, but I've got stardust stickles, so I will actually add this to all the white spots there. So I will just test it on the side here. I know this dries flat, but I hope that this will resist the what's it called, the glossy accents a little bit, or at least keep these areas free of the other space. So I'm going to continue this in a moment off camera. So all I'm doing at the moment, does it focus the camera? My eyes don't. Yeah, there we go. It's basically putting these blobs on there wherever I've got these little specks. I think the rest I will sort of maybe just colour in. I'll have a little think off camera what I want to do with that. It's mainly the top I want to focus on, and maybe I just use a shimmer pen for the bottom. So for the bottom, I decided to just use one of my Zig Clean Colour brush pens. This is number 71 Natural Beige, and I just want to put a little bit of colour down. I've stuck these down again at the bottom so they don't slip away, and I really just want to colour this in. later when the drops have dried, I will come in with a towel with a tissue and pick up the ink that's sitting on top of the embossing, and then I just want to come in on this side, do like a heavier application, and then I will use my shimmer pen. Just testing this here on the top. Give that a good shake, squeeze it a little bit, and then I will just use this one here and hopefully can drag the colour a little bit to the side, because these zig pans there are water reactive. I've got quite a lot on there, but I think that's okay. So see, on this one I go a little bit further to the middle, plenty of ink. So you see this one looks different to that one. I don't mind having two different ones. The card doesn't always have to look the same as the ATC. So yeah, I'll probably put some shimmer on the top here as well, and then I will colour this in off camera. And then I'm leaving this all to dry. I will probably come back later, but the daylight will have gone by then, so I will have to put my lights on. But yeah, I'll show you then what I want to do with the glossy accents. It is the next day and my stickers have dried really nicely. So, and they are mostly flat, so that's quite nice, but I still hope they are high enough to resist the glossy accents. So my idea is to mix some of these glossy accents with my pigment powders. I've got some standard ones here, I bought them years ago, so I'm just putting a bit here on a little plastic lid. Not even sure how much I need. And the glossy accents is basically some glue. It's called a clear gloss finish or varnish. So I just want to mix that. What I haven't tested is that it's not clogged. I quickly do this off camera. So pouring this into here now. Not sure how much I will need. I can always produce some more, but I'm just stirring this in now. Hopefully it will stay wet and what's the word I'm looking for, you know, still freely flowing. So I don't want anything lumpy, but I think that looks good here. So, and I'm just really just using my pokey tool to apply this on the areas here. I've got a little bit of glue there. So, and hopefully it will float around the stickers areas. So we'll get a bit closer in a moment, but what I will do is I will do this off camera. I will put my glasses on and I will take my time to go all the way around here. This took me just over 10 minutes with a few interruptions by my cat to colour in both of these. So I can see this one here, I noticed I had done the same there. I had one little spot where I need to apply the stickers. With this one I just painted it over. I just want to show you, so I used this thicker one here to apply the glue in this bigger areas here, and then I really use the fine dotting tool to go around the smaller areas. Because you've got quite a bit of glue on the tip, you need a smaller bit here, but you can even use a needle or something like that, or a very fine brush to move them around. And I thought at first I would have a lot left here, but this isn't really a lot left, so I suggest rather make a little bit more of that than running out of it and not having the same colour or coverage of it. So I'm leaving these to dry. I assume they're dry, need at least 12 hours, I'm not sure. I will leave them to dry overnight, I think. And in the meantime, off camera, once I have found a suitable sentiment stamp. I will do a little bit of stamping off camera on these panels here. I will already cut them to size, and then maybe even off camera I will just stick these down and just show you the finished card and ATC. Here are my finished card and ATC. So I love the shine on this. So in the background, both on the card and the ATC, I stamped this sentiment. This is from the Dragonfly set, so embrace change with strength and grace. I thought that was nice for autumn because things change this season. And because the card was so bare, I also stamped very lightly in some orange this acorn and the oak leaves from the Nuts About Scribble set. So you can just faintly see that there. And I've also stamped it there. Oh, I think I also stamped the single oak leaf on the main card. I'm not so happy that this is a little bit wonky, but it is what it is. I just didn't pay attention how I stamped that. Oh, by the way, I stamped the sentiment here, and this is second generation actually. This is the pine cone and that's the olive, but it still showed up quite strongly, especially the olive here and the pine cone there. But yeah, I'm really pleased with these. So as I said before, I will leave the link to my video where I show you how I create, or where I actually do create this background. I will leave that below. And yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I hope the recipient will be pleased about this as well. And if you like this video, I'd be happy if you liked, commented, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet, and share this video. Yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon with another video.